Hi friends, welcome to my art room. Looks a little different from the art room at school, doesn't it? Right now I have it set up to record videos for you, but usually my desk is full of painting supplies. Here's a picture of how it looked over spring break. I was working on a new painting. What did you do last week? Send me a video. I would love to hear from you. Today we're going to learn about a new artist named Joan Miró. Here's a self-portrait that Miró painted when he was 26 years old. Miró was born in 1893 and died in 1983. He lived and worked in a country called Spain. On the world map, Spain is in blue and we are the yellow star. Joan Miró was born in Barcelona, Spain. He was interested in art from an early age. He loved all kinds of art making and wasn't afraid to experiment and try new things. When he was young, Miró painted a lot of landscapes. The painting on the right was painted 2 years after the painting on the left. You can see how Miró has tried experimenting with shapes and patterns and different styles. What differences do you spot between the two paintings? Look at colors, lines, shapes, and objects. In art school, he met new artists and discovered new styles of painting. Miró started making abstract paintings, shapes and colors without any recognizable subject. In this painting, for example, you might see shapes you recognize, but not a person or thing. What shapes do you spot? Do they remind you of anything? Throughout his life, Miró was inspired by the artwork of children. He experimented with playful doodling in his own paintings. As he got older, Miró kept experimenting with different styles and materials like painting, ceramics, even yarn. He worked with many other artists to bring his ideas to life. For the next few weeks, we are going to base our art making on the work and ideas of Miró. Ready for some art making? I know I am. Today we are going to be making doodle art. This is my doodle art. I call it a fish eating a grape. I chose to use paint for mine, watercolor paint to be exact. And you can too if you have watercolor at home. But if mom and dad don't want you to paint, or if you don't have paints, you can do this project with crayons or colored pencils or markers, whatever it is that you have at home. Are you ready to get started? Okay, the first thing that you're going to need is a piece of white paper. It can be construction paper or it can be copy paper, whatever you have is fine. Now you're going to need a pencil. With this pencil, we're going to make a doodle that fills the page. Our doodle can be loopy lines, like the letter E. It could be zigzaggy lines, like the letter Z, or a combination of all of them. You can start anywhere you want. I'm trying to go all around my paper. I'm stopping, I'm starting. But it's one single line. I'm going to begin with my watercolors. Again, if you have crayons or markers, that's fine. I'm going to wake up my watercolor by adding a couple drops of water into the colors. I'm going to choose any of the colors to start with. I think I'm going to rinse out my brush and start with that purple. And I'm going to pick a shape. Can be any shape I want. Let's see, how about this one right here? That space looks interesting. Straight in the middle. I'm going to start right there. When I'm painting, I find it helpful to paint the outlines first and then fill in the inside. There we go. If you go out of the lines a little bit, that's okay. This is just a doodle painting. Doesn't have to be perfect.
I'm gonna pick another space. I can stick with purple, but I think I'm gonna do green. I rinse off my brush so I don't contaminate my green. And I'll pick up some green. See how I'm swishing the brush around to pick up the color? Maybe this one? There we go. All right. I'm going to keep going until I have 3 or 4 spaces filled in with color. Now I'm going to take a look at my picture and see if it reminds me of anything. I'm going to turn it a bunch of different directions. This kind of looks like an ice cream cone. What color should I use with my ice cream? Maybe it'll be like a sorbet, Italian ice. I'm gonna do red and orange. There we go. Well, you can see my red is bleeding into my orange a little bit because my red was still wet when I put the orange down. That's okay. Now let's see. I really don't want the color to bleed down into the cone, so I'm going to move over and work on something else for a little while. What does this look like? Oh my gosh, you know what it looks like? It looks like a dog. Are you ready? I'm gonna make this his eye. Right about here, I think I'm gonna add a line to make it look more like a dog. This is his nose. Should add a line for the nose, but it's wet and I can't do it while it's wet, so I'm gonna have to wait till it's dry. Okay, so here's my dog's eye. Okay, and here's his ear. I already started making him purple, so I think I'm gonna continue rocking the purple. I'll have to make that shape in the middle a different color. Maybe I'll do, I don't know, blue or something. I'm gonna keep painting until he's all the way colored. Here's my finished work. You can see I ended up adding 3 lines, one here to make it look more like an eye, and one right here, and another one just right there, so I can make this look more like his body. You can add up to 5 extra lines in your drawing. The more lines you have, the more you have to work with. You can use watercolor paints, or you can use crayons or colored pencils. Whatever material you use, make sure that you fill in your space and don't leave any white. Do you see how right here I didn't go all the way to the edge? I'm going to go back and fill in those spaces so that it's solid orange. To start filling in spaces, do 3 or 4 and then stop. Now it's time to do some brainstorming. You can do this by yourself, or if you want, you can get a brother or a sister or mom or dad involved. You're going to try to figure out what your picture looks like. I think mine looks like some sort of weird creature. It looks like a dragon or something. Here's his eye. Here's some teeth. Here's his big old nose. And here's his bottom mouth. He's kind of looking a little sleepy and he's got his mouth open. So I don't really think I need to add any more lines to make this look more like a dragon. Maybe one just down here for the rest of his neck. I can't wait to see what your finished works look like. Here's my finished dragon creature. We have one last step to go before we're done with art for today. I want you to get a new piece of paper and get out your pencil, and we're going to doodle, just like we did with our other one, except this time we're not going to color it and we're not going to paint it. I'm going to start on this edge this time. See what I do. A couple loop-de-loops. Remember, the more lines you make, the more possibilities you have.
It was great to make art with you today, friends. Before we go, there are 2 things I want you to remember. First of all, if you made a mess, clean it up. Put all your art supplies away. If you need to wipe off your table, grab a paper towel or a rag and wipe it off, just like we do in art class. Second thing, you need to make sure you take a picture of those 2 artworks that you made today. The first one was your doodle painting, the one that you colored in. Remember, it didn't have to be paint, it could be colored pencil. And then the second one you need to get a picture of is just your plain doodle drawing. We're going to use that for our art making next week, okay? So again, 2 things. First thing, clean up. Second thing, get your 2 pictures photographed. There are directions for how to do this in the link in Seesaw. Mom and dad or an older brother or sister can help you get a good picture. Great art making. I can't wait to see you next week. Bye.